Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Young with Hoopsing.com, and he is Garrett Tucker, also with Hoopsing.com. We've been going through on our shows today on Monday after a super busy weekend all over the country for the NCAA Live Period for scholastic teams. What that means is high school teams compete, college coaches can come watch. Really simple formula, and we're doing it all in the state of Tennessee in the city of Memphis. And Garrett Tucker, you were there for Friday action? Is that when you were there?
Friday, yep, and it was started at noon, or I'm sorry, it started at 11. Actually went to 10 o'clock at night, so it was jam packed throughout Friday. Yeah, there was plenty to see, that's for sure.
Well, we're going to talk about your top takeaways, top performers, top teams, top kind of come up guys, top underclassmen. So a lot of superlatives from the day, and we're going to run through it right here on the Fast Break on Hoopsing.com. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all the things that you want to go do. Also, make sure you just go look up Garrett Tucker on Twitter and give him a follow, as well as Hoopsing TN, Hoopsing Tennessee. We got you covered. Of course, we got to also mention our guy, the GOAT, Andre Whitehead, was there with you as well. So make sure you go follow him at TN Prep Hoops, Tennessee Prep Hoops. Andre's the absolute best. And it's always good to see him in the gym. So, Garrett, let's get right to it. The top performers overall. You smile really big when you mentioned the first guy's name, Christian Alston out of Bartlett High School. Why are you so excited about him, and what do you have up your sleeve with this rising prospect?
It blows my mind. Christian Alston is one of those sleepers that nobody knows anything about, and we've been on him for I guess almost a year now, since Thanksgiving. It really blows my mind why more people haven't jumped on board yet. Man, 6'5", 3-and-D wing, really shot it well, defends, and he's going to have a lot more chances and opportunities to shine this year for Bartlett. They graduated a ton, so he played really well. Actually ended up earning half a dozen scholarship offers Sunday evening. Guys calling and offering him, and I don't think that's just the tip of the iceberg. There were a couple of high major programs there. Vanderbilt, Missouri. I think there's going to be more. They'll be back in Franklin this coming weekend, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's more high major guys there. Just check out him and Bartlett. But yeah, no, he did his thing, and I'm really excited to see where his recruitment goes. Like I told you, I'm excited that we have him in the back end of our top 150. He just translates to the next level and everything. So I think he's going to be a really good, successful player.
Yeah, he could be on the climb too. I mean, listen, there's something about, we've seen this. This isn't a one-time thing. Big wings, big 3-and-D wings out of the city of Memphis are guys that do really, really well, that translate really, really well. Bartlett's no stranger to having great players within their program. Certainly the city of Memphis will get you battle-tested and ready to play collegiately, so I'm not surprised to hear that. Also, listen, man, if you ever want to find a great high school event, make sure you go out to Lighthouse Classic in Corinth, Mississippi. There's always guys that come out of that event and that stage year in and year out, so it sounds like Christian Alston is one of those guys as well. Christian Brothers, wasn't that one of the host schools for this on Friday?
Not this week, I don't think. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh, you were a Good Pasture. That's where you were, as Good Pasture?
Briarcrest.
Right. I was going to get it right. Listen, I was going to mention all the schools until I got it right. So,
there you go.
Nevertheless, I think that's where I got confused. Is one of the best players from the event was out of Christian Brothers, and that was Keeper Jackson, also one of the best names in all of high school basketball. What was it about Mr. Keeper Jackson that you really liked to consider him a top performer?
All right, so first thing, Keeper Jackson, rising sophomore in class of 2026. Wow. He looks like he could be on a college campus today. I mean, 6'7", 6'8", great physique, and as he used it to his advantage. Just really dominated with his length and size. But he's got some intangibles to his game that there's a lot to like there. Made a couple of shots. Great leader, I thought. Just really vocal. Does the small things that help you win a game. So I really liked him. Not the first time I've seen him. Plays with the Skill Factory on the travel circuit, but I feel like he's going to be a guy. Looks like a no-brainer, high major guy at this point. So he played really well, and he was definitely one of my top performers, and also one of those young guys to watch going forward, for sure, going into July and the high school season.
I love it. 2026 Keeper Jackson, 6'8", certainly worth watching here. Let's move it on down the line, down over at Cordova High School. KJ Tenner was another guy that you really liked as a top performer. What is it about him, and what can you tell us more about Mr. Tenner?
I don't know what it is about Cordova High School. They always have a little guard that's the most exciting guy in the gym. Tyler Harris was the same way when he was there. KJ Tenner's cut from the same cloth, just wired to score the ball, can put on a show. He's just one of those guys. And he did what he does best, scored the ball all three levels. Very slippery, hard for defenders to stay in front of. He even showed that he can pass it a little bit too. So just a very exciting guy. From my weekend, I would say he's the most exciting guy that I saw. I would buy a ticket to watch him play for sure. Yeah, Terrence Scales, he's got a good one in his pocket there. And he's another guy that hasn't really received a ton of interest. North Alabama, Kennesaw State, Moorhead, Central Michigan ended up offering him, but I'm surprised there aren't more Division I schools in the Southeast that aren't beating down his door. Especially with the Terrell Burden deal at Kennesaw, he reminds me a lot of Terrell, but his scoring translates to the next level. People are going to say he's small and everything, but there's a place for him somewhere, whether it be the OVC, SoCon, something like that. I think he's an exciting player that could make a difference on a college roster.
I love it. So there's some of your top performers from the weekend. Let's talk about some of the top teams. Obviously, Bartlett's one of those guys with Christian Alston, but also on that roster is a player that we really, really liked at Bob Gibbons this year with We All Can Go, and that's CJ Gilliand. Talk about that team and really how much did that team impress you?
Yeah, like I said earlier, they lost a lot, and they lost a lot of size from last year. So it's a different style. They've got a lot of guards, not as much length, but they're getting after it on defense, setting the tone from the jump. But Christian Gilliland, coming off he had turned his ankle earlier in the week, and he's just really athletic. So kind of slowed him down a hair, but I mean, it's impossible to keep him from getting to the rim. Just constantly in attack mode, can make some tough finishes around there, like we saw at Bob Gibbons. Sure. So he transferred over recently, so I'm interested to see how that helps his recruitment. He's another guy, hasn't really got a ton of attention, and he deserves it. So they're going to be good again. They've got KJ Neville, point guard. He's going to be really good for them. And some other pieces that are going to have an opportunity to come out after playing in somebody else's shadow last year with a big senior class. So Bartlett was really good. Probably the best game that I saw on Friday was Bartlett and Independence. Another guy we're no stranger to is Jet Montgomery, another exciting player. He came out blazing. I think he had 13 early points, and it was bang, bang, bang. Always has the green light. That's what I love about his coach. He gets in a rhythm. He's firing, and his coach gives him a long leash and lets him do that. So, but there aren't many guys that play harder than Jet Montgomery. Whenever the lights come on, he's ready to go. So I thought Jet was really good. There were a couple of schools there to see him. Also, they've got a class of 2025, Tylen Lewis, a guard. He played really well in the game that I saw. Just really knows how to command the ball, command the game with the ball in his hands. Very slithery, getting to the lane. He didn't back down from that pressure from Bartlett, I thought. So both of those two teams, they were really, really good. I was very impressed with them.
Yeah, Tylen Lewis is a guy that we've seen quite a bit with Team Mookie over the years. Let's move it down the line to Columbia Academy. Really good depth from this group. And really, how much did this group impress you over the course of your time there at the Tennessee camp?
Columbia Academy, another really one of my favorite teams that I saw. They've got a little bit of everything. Griffin Cooper, 2024 big man. He played really well. Saw him earlier in the summer at UEH's elite camp. Just continued that play. Gabe Davenport, the game that I watched, he didn't play. His shot wasn't falling like it usually does, but he's another guy not afraid to let it fly. Thought he did really well. And then another Team Mookie guy that really impressed me was Jeremy Jackson.
Wow.
Just really played hard, got after it, 6'4" wing. He's just got a lot of intangibles, makes winning plays. So I thought Columbia Academy, they've got a little bit of something for everybody. So it's good to get eyes on them.
I love it. Let's talk about now. Let's move it down the line here and talk about maybe three guys that were either 2024 guys that, or maybe some other guys that kind of play themselves into the conversation that warrant a little bit more on the recruiting front.
Yeah, a familiar face for me. I saw him play with Team Heavy in April was Odell Bradley from Beach. Big, probably 6'2", 6'3" guard, lefty. Just did a really good job of getting to his spots on the floor. Did a lot of spinning and getting back to his left hand for some easy shots. I thought he did really well. Had a really good game. He's got some recruiting interest coming in, so I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm sure there'll be tons of guys seeing him in July. Thought he was really good. Also from Christian Brothers, Ashton Hudson, first game of the day. He's just a big wing, hit some shots, really utilized his size and overpowered some other guards. He was very impressive for Christian Brothers. Thought he was really good. And then another guy, Josh Hurd from Cookeville. Tennessee Tech had 2 assistants there to see him. Thought he was pretty good as well. They actually played Christian Brothers, I believe, Friday. So he can make a shot, pretty skilled, but he's just very versatile, can do a lot of different things. So he's another nice one to have in your back pocket if you're low major, maybe even Division II coach as well.
Did Franklin have anybody that you liked?
Franklin, yeah. So let's see here. Christian Brown, class of 2025 forward, 6'5", 6'6". Reminds me of kind of a Zach Randolph kind of game, a little bit more athletic, but he is the guy that gets the notoriety for them, and that's warranted. But Davis Long, rising senior point guard, he runs the show. He is the engine that runs that team. Just always makes the right decision. I think he's a no-brainer Division III guy. Like if I'm a Division III coach, I'm beating his door down. Maybe even some Division IIs. He was really good. Great impression from him and just how he commanded just everything on the floor. That's all I can say. He's a winner for sure.
I love it. All right, let's play a little game here. I'm going to mention a class, and you mentioned what you think was the best guy that you saw from that class, or like one of the best guys that you saw from that class. Kind of do a rapid fire. We talked a lot about the 2024 guys already, but your 2025 guy, who was there like a definitive or like an overall top guy for you in the 25 class?
I'm going to say a guy I haven't mentioned is going to be Cade Caps from Stone Memorial. Really skilled 6'4" guard / wing. Filled it up from all 3 levels. I thought he was really good. Can really pass it as well. I thought he was really good in the 2 games that I saw. And he's got some recruiting interest already. I know Lipscomb, Radford, and a number of other schools reached out to him on June the 15th when you could reach out to juniors. So I thought he had a really good weekend.
I love it. 26 class national just seems like it's just so deep. I feel like that was probably the case in Tennessee as well. Was there one guy or a trio of guys, a handful of guys in 26 that you thought was a definitive top guy?
Like I said, go on somebody we haven't mentioned. I've got to mention the Faith Assembly Christian School guys. very young, had some talent. Chris Carroll and Cello Jackson, and then also NJ Jones, I believe. Those guys, they play an exciting brand of basketball. So somebody in Memphis, you got to go watch those guys during the high school season. They get after it, and they're only going to get better with time as well.
What about 27? Any 27 guys? Which sounds so weird, by the way, to say that out loud. Class of 2027. But any young guys getting their first crack out there on the big stage impress you?
Yeah, that time is here. Memphis East, no stranger to talented prospects. The next one up looks like Dylan Butler, 6'4" wing, has really good ball skills. Caught a little bit of their game Friday evening, and he looks like a guy that's going to be a dude for sure. So, like I said, Memphis East, they're always have talent. So, and he's just going to be yet again the next one coming through.
Dylan Butler, write down the name, Memphis East. Again, like you said, no stranger to having high-level prospects over the course of time. This is good stuff, man. I feel like there's going to be a lot of film that needs to be watched just because of the depth of talent across all these different camps. I mean, not just Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Carolinas. I mean, our wheelhouse, I feel like there were a ton of guys across the board that we still have to get some eyeballs on. So make sure you follow us at Hoopscene Tennessee. At Hoopscene TN is really the account that you're going to want to follow on Twitter. Tons of content coming from Garrett. A lot of content coming from our guy Andre Whitehead as well. We got to help him figure out how to do these StreamYard things, man. I feel like he'd be great at this. We just got to help him figure out how to use it. So, but that'll be fun. But until next time, Garrett Tucker, we appreciate your insight in the state of Tennessee and a really good recap from the action that you saw in Memphis. Thanks for all your thoughts and intel.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.